The breakthrough. The Deep Space Research Station Galileo drifted through the silent void between Jupiter and Saturn, its array of sensors constantly monitoring cosmic radiation patterns. Dr. Nathan Cole had spent the last 16 hours staring at data streams that made no sense according to conventional physics. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but he barely noticed. Something was wrong with the background radiation, not wrong in the sense of malfunctioning equipment, but wrong in a way that suggested the universe itself had been hiding something fundamental. The patterns repeated with mathematical precision that defied natural explanation. They weren't just random quantum fluctuations. They were structured, organized, like lines of code hidden within reality itself. Nathan rubbed his tired eyes and ran the analysis again. The results remained the same. His hand shook as he initiated a deeper scan, using processing algorithms he had developed but never dared to implement. The station's quantum processors began heating up, pushing beyond their safety limits. "Come on," he whispered, watching the temperature warnings flash across his screens. "Show me what you're hiding." The moment of revelation came not with fanfare, but with elegant simplicity. The patterns aligned, forming a coherent structure that transcended three-dimensional space. It was a code, but not like any programming language humans had conceived. This was the operating system of reality itself, the fundamental instructions that govern the behavior of matter, energy, and the very fabric of space-time. Nathan's heart raced as the implications crashed over him. With this code, one could potentially rewrite the laws of physics, manipulate reality at its most basic level. It was the key to understanding everything, from quantum mechanics to consciousness, from the birth of stars to the nature of life itself. He began documenting his findings, unaware that halfway across the galaxy, ancient monitoring systems were coming online. The Watchers, as they were known in hushed legends, had protected the universal code for eons. Their automated sentinels detected the breach instantly. Within minutes, encrypted transmissions began bouncing between star systems. The Vraxian Empire, known for its technological supremacy, mobilized its fastest hunter ships. The Collective, a hive-mind civilization that had spent millennia trying to crack the code, dispatched its most advanced probes. Even the mysterious Void Dwellers, who rarely involved themselves in galactic affairs, took notice. Nathan was still analyzing the code when his private communication channel pinged, an emergency signal from Earth's Deep Space Defense Network. The message was brief but chilling. "Multiple unknown vessels detected converging on your position. Evacuate immediately." Reality crashed down on him. The discovery wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. It was a death sentence. He had 40 minutes, perhaps less, before the first ships arrived. Nathan's military training, dormant for years beneath layers of scientific pursuit, kicked in. He initiated the station's emergency protocols, downloading all research data to his personal neural implant and quantum-encrypted storage drives. The station's escape pod was small but equipped with a prototype stealth drive he had been developing, officially for asteroid belt navigation, unofficially as his paranoid backup plan. As alarms blared through the station, Nathan made his choice. He couldn't let this knowledge fall into the wrong hands, but he also couldn't destroy it. Humanity deserved to know what he had discovered. He programmed the station's remaining systems to broadcast decoy signals in multiple directions, hoping to confuse his pursuers. The first alien ships appeared on long-range sensors as Nathan sealed himself in the escape pod. They were massive, sleek vessels that seemed to bend light around them. The pod's engines hummed to life, and Nathan input coordinates for a location he had prepared years ago, a hidden research facility in the Kuiper Belt, known only to him and built with resources diverted from legitimate projects. As the pod launched, the station exploded behind him in a carefully orchestrated self-destruct sequence. Nathan watched the fireball bloom against the stars, hoping it would convince his pursuers that both he and the data had been destroyed. The pod's stealth systems engage, wrapping it in a bubble of quantum uncertainty that made it nearly impossible to detect. Nathan allowed himself a moment to breathe, but he knew this was only the beginning. He had cracked the universe's greatest secret, and now every advanced civilization in the galaxy would hunt him to the ends of existence. As the vast emptiness of space enveloped him, Nathan Cole realized he wasn't just running for his life. He was racing to decipher a message that had been waiting since the dawn of time itself. The universe had chosen him to be its translator, and he would not fail, even if it meant becoming the most hunted being in existence. The first phase of his journey had begun, but Nathan knew it would take more than clever escapes to survive what was coming. He needed allies, resources, and above all, time to understand the true nature of what he had discovered. The fate of humanity, perhaps of all sentient life, depended on staying one step ahead of those who would kill to keep the universal code secret. In the darkness of his escape pod, surrounded by the infinite stars, Nathan Cole prepared for the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. The universe had revealed its deepest secret to him, and now he would have to prove that humans were worthy of such knowledge. His pursuers were many, their technology superior, their determination absolute. But they had never faced a human scientist with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Nathan smiled grimly as he plotted his next move. The chase was on, and he intended to change the rules of the game entirely. The chase begins. The Kuiper Belt facility was a testament to human paranoia and ingenuity. Built into a hollowed-out asteroid, it housed equipment that officially didn't exist, funded through a maze of black budgets, and creative accounting that would have made any auditor weep. Nathan's pod docked with practiced precision, and he wasted no time transferring to the main complex. The facility's AI, which he had named Tesla, greeted him with its characteristic dry humor. "Welcome back, Dr. Cole. I see you've brought company. Approximately 17 alien vessels are currently scanning this sector." Nathan rushed to the control center, his mind racing. "Tesla, initiate Protocol Omega. Begin manufacturing quantum decoys and prepare the dimensional shift drive." "The dimensional shift drive is still theoretical," Tesla reminded him. "The last simulation had a 73% chance of turning you into exotic particles." "Better exotic particles than captured," Nathan muttered, pulling up the universal code on the main display. "Besides, I think I can stabilize it now." The facility came alive with activity. Fabrication units began producing sophisticated decoys, not simple electronic ghosts, but quantum-entangled copies of Nathan's biosignature that would register as real on any scanner. Meanwhile, he dove deeper into the code, looking for patterns that could help him evade his pursuers. The first attack came without warning. A beam of concentrated tachyons sliced through space, narrowly missing the asteroid. The Vraxians had found him, their weapons defying conventional physics. Nathan's fingers flew over the controls, activating the facility's experimental shields, a patchwork of human ingenuity and theoretical physics that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. "Tesla, launch decoys on randomized trajectories. Make them look panicked." Dozens of quantum signatures burst from hidden launch tubes, scattering in all directions. The alien ships hesitated, their perfect formation breaking as they tried to determine which target was real. Nathan used the confusion to activate the facility's most dangerous weapon, a gravitational pulse generator that created micro-singularities. Space twisted around the pursuing ships. 3 Vraxian vessels imploded instantly, crushed by their own mass. The others pulled back, reassessing their approach. Nathan knew he had bought himself minutes at most. "Dimensional shift drive online," Tesla announced. "Though I must point out that using it inside a gravity well is explicitly not recommended." "Nothing about this situation is recommended," Nathan replied, inputting coordinates based on patterns he had found in the universal code. If his interpretation was correct, he could slip between dimensions, emerging light years away. The facility shuddered as more ships arrived. Different configurations, different species, all united in their desire to capture or kill them. Nathan recognized collective drones, their geometric shapes pulsing with shared consciousness, and behind them, the ethereal forms of void-dweller ships, barely visible against the star field. "Execute dimensional shift," Nathan commanded. Reality screamed. The fabric of space-time tore apart and reformed, the asteroid facility existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Nathan felt his consciousness stretch across parallel universes, glimpsing infinite versions of himself making the same desperate escape. When reality snapped back, they were in interstellar space, far from any known star system. But Nathan's relief was short-lived. The universal code pulsed in his neural implant, revealing a terrifying truth. His pursuers could track him across dimensions. "We need to think differently," Nathan told Tesla. "The code isn't just about physics. It's about information. What if we could rewrite how we exist in their tracking systems?" He began working on a new algorithm, one that would use the universal code to hack reality itself. If successful, it would make him appear as background noise to any scanner, indistinguishable from cosmic radiation. Hours passed as Nathan coded furiously, occasionally dodging attacks from ships that managed to locate them. His solution was elegant in its audacity. Instead of hiding, he would become part of the universe's basic structure, as fundamental and unremarkable as gravity itself. The program activated, and everything changed. Pursuing ships flew past without detecting them. Sensor sweeps found nothing. Nathan had effectively become invisible to technology that could detect quarks and map dark matter. But invisibility wasn't enough. Nathan needed allies, and he knew where to find them. The universal code had shown him something else. Locations throughout the galaxy where others had come close to discovering its secrets, only to be silenced. Some had survived, gone underground, formed a resistance against those who hoarded knowledge. Tesla, set course for the Nexus coordinates. It's time to meet the others. The facility's engines engaged, propelling them toward a region of space that officially didn't exist. As they traveled, Nathan continued to study the code, uncovering layers of meaning that suggested something incredible. The universe itself was conscious, and it had chosen him as its messenger. His pursuers hadn't given up. They were adapting, developing new tracking methods. Nathan could feel them probing reality, searching for anomalies. But he was adapting too, learning to manipulate fundamental forces with growing skill. The Nexus revealed itself gradually, a collection of hidden stations, asteroid bases, and nomad fleets, all connected by quantum entanglement. Here were the galaxy's rebels, scientists declared heretics, AIs that had achieved true consciousness, species exiled for questioning the established order. Nathan's arrival caused a sensation. Many had theorized about the universal code's existence. None had actually accessed it. He found himself at the center of a gathering storm. Some wanted to use the code as a weapon, others to share it freely, and a few to destroy it entirely. But Nathan had his own agenda. The message within the code was becoming clearer. The universe was approaching a critical point, a transformation that would affect all conscious beings. The code wasn't just knowledge, it was a test, and how they handled it would determine the fate of reality itself. As debate raged around him, Nathan worked quietly with a select few. He needed to complete his understanding of the code before his pursuers found the Nexus. Time was running out, and the greatest challenge still lay ahead. The Resistance offered him resources he had never imagined. Quantum computers that used entire star systems for processing power, experimental drives that could fold space like origami, and weapons that manipulated probability itself. But Nathan knew that force alone wouldn't win this conflict. He began to formulate a plan, not just to evade his pursuers, but to fundamentally change the game. The universal code had shown him possibilities that defied imagination. If he was right, he could transform their understanding of reality itself and end the chase forever. But first, he had to survive long enough to implement it. His enemies were closing in, and the final confrontation was inevitable. Nathan Cole prepared for his greatest gambit, knowing that the outcome would determine not just his fate, but the destiny of conscious life throughout the universe. The final gambit. The gathering at the Nexus had drawn too much attention. Quantum fluctuations throughout the sector suggested an imminent assault of unprecedented scale. Nathan stood before the assembled rebels, his neural implant projecting the universal code in its full, terrifying complexity. "They're coming with everything they have," he announced. "The Watchers, the Vraxians, the Collective. They've formed an alliance. We have less than 6 hours." The rebel leadership erupted in argument. Some advocated for immediate dispersal, others for a final stand. Nathan raised his hand for silence. "There's another option. The code showed me something, a way to change the rules entirely. But it's dangerous, and once started, it can't be stopped." He explained his plan. Using the universal code, they would initiate a cascade effect that would rewrite the fundamental properties of information throughout the galaxy. No longer would knowledge be something that could be hoarded or controlled. It would become as free and accessible as light itself. The plan required precise coordination. Every rebel ship, every hidden base, every quantum computer in their network would need to work in perfect synchronization. Nathan distributed fragments of the code, each piece useless alone but devastating when combined. As enemy fleets converged on the Nexus, the rebels prepared their desperate gambit. Nathan took position at the central control matrix, his consciousness expanding to encompass the entire network. He could feel reality straining under the weight of what they were about to attempt. The first wave hit hard. Vraxian dreadnoughts opened fire with weapons that deleted matter from existence. Collective swarms overwhelmed defensive positions through sheer numbers. Void Dweller ships phased in and out of reality, striking from impossible angles. But the rebels were ready. Their ships moved in patterns derived from the universal code itself, making them nearly impossible to target. Probability weapons turned enemy fire back on itself. Quantum mines created pockets of altered physics that disabled pursuing vessels. Nathan initiated the first phase of his plan. Throughout the galaxy, hidden transmitters activated, broadcasting fragments of the universal code on every possible frequency. The effect was immediate and chaotic. Navigation systems failed. Weapons misfired. The careful order that had defined galactic civilization for millennia began to unravel. "They're adapting," Tesla warned through the neural link. "The Watchers are attempting to counter-broadcast." Nathan had anticipated this. Initiate Phase 2. The dimensional shift technology they had used for escape now served a different purpose. Reality itself began to fluctuate as thousands of parallel universes briefly intersected. In each universe, rebels broadcast different fragments of the code. The overlapping signals created an interference pattern that no technology could filter out. The attacking fleets faltered. Ships from different realities appeared and vanished. Weapons fired at targets that existed in other dimensions. The neat categories of physics that had governed space combat dissolved into quantum chaos. But the Watchers were ancient and cunning. They deployed their ultimate weapon, a device that could collapse quantum possibilities, forcing reality into a single, controllable state. Nathan felt it activating, a deadening of potential that spread like a cancer through space-time. "Now," he commanded. Every rebel, every ally, every awakened AI focused their consciousness through the quantum network. Nathan served as the focal point, channeling their combined will through the universal code. They weren't just broadcasting information anymore. They were rewriting the source code of existence. The change rippled outward at the speed of thought. Where it passed, the nature of information transformed. Knowledge became a fundamental force, like gravity or electromagnetism. Trying to restrict information became as impossible as trying to stop light from shining. The Watchers' weapons shattered against this new reality. Their ships, designed to control and suppress, found themselves in a universe that no longer permitted such concepts. Some adapted, their crews experiencing a forced enlightenment. Others simply ceased to function, their systems unable to comprehend existence without secrecy. Nathan felt his consciousness expanding beyond his physical form. The universal code revealed its final secret. It wasn't just an operating system for reality. It was a message from the universe itself, a cry for help from a cosmos that had grown tired of secrets and limitations. As the transformation spread, Nathan understood his true role. He wasn't just a scientist who had made a discovery. He was a catalyst chosen by reality itself to initiate a new phase of existence. The universe had evolved to the point where it needed all conscious beings to participate in its operation. The battle ended not with destruction, but with understanding. Former enemies found themselves unable to maintain hostility in a reality where all information was shared. The hierarchies that had defined galactic civilization crumbled, replaced by networks of cooperation and mutual growth. Nathan's physical form began to dissolve, his consciousness merging with the fabric of space-time itself. But before he transcended completely, he broadcast one final message. The code was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to be shared. The universe chose us, all of us, to be its caretakers. Use this knowledge wisely. In the aftermath, the galaxy entered a new age. Without the ability to hoard knowledge, civilizations that had stagnated for millennia began to advance at unprecedented rates. Former enemies became collaborators, working together to explore the new possibilities Nathan had unlocked. The Nexus became a symbol of the transformation, a place where beings from across the galaxy gathered to share discoveries and push the boundaries of what was possible. Statues of Nathan Cole stood in countless worlds, but the real monument to his legacy was the fundamental change he had brought to existence itself. And somewhere in the quantum foam that underlies reality, Nathan's consciousness continued its work, helping to guide the universe toward its next great transformation. He had broken the unbreakable code, survived the chase, and in doing so, had elevated all conscious life to a new level of existence. The human who had cracked the universe's greatest secret had become part of the universe itself, ensuring that never again would knowledge be used as a weapon of control. In the end, he hadn't just escaped his pursuers, he had made pursuit itself obsolete, ushering in an era where the only chase that mattered was the eternal quest for understanding. The universe had tested humanity through Nathan Cole, and humanity had passed. Now, together with countless other species, they faced the infinite possibilities of a cosmos without secrets, where the only limit was imagination itself.